Good evening, folks, and welcome back to part two of our double hit tonight. My name is Paul, joined by Alex and, of course, Billy for tonight's Newcastle United Transfer Show. We have loads of names that we've been linked with. So, as usual, what I will say during these shows is we are not saying these people are going to sign, by the way. They are just links, but we like to take a deep dive into the players and show you, the viewers, what you would be getting should the player sign for Newcastle United. But if you do enjoy the transfer show, give us that thumbs up, guys. Very important for the channel. And of course, as usual, if you're new and you like what you see, please do hit the subscribe button, which is free to do so. And also the notification bell so you never miss an uploaded video or a live show. And you can support the channel in the usual two ways: via membership, which is the green join button just underneath us. And of course, super chats, which is the $sign at the bottom of the live chat. And that will guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. And, of course, another big thank you to Mamaroo Records for sponsoring the Toon Review. If you're ever around Whitley Bay, pop in and see Steve for all your vinyls, your CDs, your music merchandise, sporting merch, gift cards, the lot. If you can't get into Whitley Bay, check them out online. It's pinned at the top of the description. And also mention that you're a TTR viewer. Good evening for a second time, gentlemen.
Good evening to all the Magpie Massive for once again the second time.
Paul's lips are red. God knows. My lips are red because I've had beans and peppers, and I have washed though. But you know, I don't mind glowing lips. Who can say no to glowing lips? It's just a fact that I have larger than life lips. They're good for a lot.
I always try to stay away from glowing lips, to be fair.
Yeah, well, that's at the other end, Billy, but we'll not talk about
Welcome
that.
to the second transfer show of the transfer window, everyone.
Dan Robinson, thank you for your super chat. In the know, TTR says all players viewed are joining Newcastle. Hey, yeah, right, let's dive straight in, shall we, with the first player of tonight's show, and that is, well, would you believe it, Alex? It's James Trafford.
It is, funnily enough, James Trafford with his very awkward grin there.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he almost looks sort of half Chinese, doesn't he? It's weird.
No, I think he looks English.
I think he's got a look at the Carvin Wilsons about him.
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter what he looks like. Get on with the stats, Alex, because we could get into trouble.
I know. Well, everybody's not joined us yet. It's creeping up over 700, so we'll pace ourselves with James Trafford. So. We'll preface this by saying there's a lot of people that don't think that he's a reasonable option because he had a massive hit of confidence last year when they were in the Premier League and did lose his place. I would like to point out a couple of things. Firstly, he is 22 years old. So to be 22 years old now and to have those seasons already under your belt is quite impressive. Yeah, he's obviously played for Manchester City. He's had seasons in the Championship, in the Premier League, so he's quite experienced for somebody of his age who is a goalkeeper. And in terms of how Burnley are getting on at the moment, that is an important thing to consider as well. So if we go and have a look at Burnley and the Championship this season, Burnley have, funnily enough, only conceded 9 goals in 25 matches. If you look at everybody around them, that's ridiculous. It's
the Championship as well, Alex. That's the thing that really impresses me. Is Championship is, we know what the Championship's like, and to only have 25 games with 9 conceded, that's pretty damn good, if you ask me.
Well, the variety of teams and the way they play and line up in the Championship makes this ultra impressive. 25 games played, he's only conceded 9 goals. It is outrageous. So that's another thing to consider before you write him off based on one bad season in the Premier League. Current statistics for his season in the Championship: 9 goals against. We've just had a look at that, with 14.7 post-shot expected goals. So this is a very good metric for goalkeepers. This is roughly what he should have conceded on average. So based on the quality of opportunities against him, he should have generally conceded about 15 goals, and he's only conceded 9. So he's prevented on his own 6 goals, according to the data, on average, but based on those opportunities, which is fantastic, may I add. Save percentage is 84.2, which is very high. That's very, very good. It is worth noting that a lot of the data you're going to see is based on the men's next 14 leagues, because it is going to be comparing Championship to things like the Eredivisie, La Liga NOS. It's going to be MLS, things like that. Contract until 2027, so he is going to be marginally cheaper than the other times we've looked at him. That being said, he is contracted until 2020. Sorry, I just said that. Not that was completely lost my thread there. He's contracted until 2027, but I can't remember what I was going to say now. Completely disappeared. Hang on.
Release clause? I don't know. He's got a release clause or something like that?
No, it wasn't a release clause. It will come back to me. It's fine. We'll swing back around to that when we get to transfer marks. No bother. £25,000 a week. So reasonable wages, reasonable contract. He's going to be expensive. I know what I was going to say. His price. So he was purchased for over £17 million by Burnley. So they're not going to let him go for any less than that, because he's got a reasonable contract. He's the number one goalkeeper. So we are going to have to pay, I would imagine, a bit more than that to get him. So he's not going to be cheap. Let's have a look at the data, shall we? So this is what we get for goalkeepers. For those of you who haven't been with us for super long, you get a different set of data for goalkeepers. Of course, you've got things like saves to consider. So important things to have a look at. This is actually from
last season, isn't it?
This is the Premier League season. So this is last season. Premier League season 23-24 based on 2,500 minutes. So save percentage was down at 65.7%. So considerably lower than it is now in the 31st percentile, and was struggling. A big issue with confidence, got dropped from the team. And if we have a look at how he's doing now, this season, it has changed considerably. The save percentage is up to 84.2. So an enormous change. Clean sheet percentage, of course, is enormous as well. Interesting things to consider is things like defensive actions outside of penalty area. So this is sweeper keeper stuff. It's pretty high. 1.43 per 90 is a good number. I have gone and compared him to Nick Pope.
I was just about, when you said sweeper keeper there, Alex, I was just about to say, have you compared him to Nick Pope? And you have.
Unfortunately, I don't have the sweeping metrics on this graphic, because I need to have FB Ref Premium, and I do not have that. So if anybody wants to fund FB Ref Premium for the channel, feel free to help. But yeah, so please ignore these to a point, because this is comparing Championship percentiles to top 5 league percentiles. So the percentiles are a bit squiffy. You're going to have to take them with a massive, massive pinch of salt. However, save percentage, I think, is what, 84.2. So if we go and have a look at Nick Pope on his actual record, so Nick Pope's save percentage is currently 71.2. So granted, Nick Pope is having to play against a higher caliber of player week in, week out, and save more difficult shots. But still, you can see the difference there. And in terms of goals against with post-shot expected goals, Nick Pope is thereabouts what he should be saving. And if we have a look at Dubravka, we will have a look at the difference between there. At the moment, as you can see, his minutes so far this season is he has 100% save percentage, because he's not conceded since he's been in so far this season.
Go on, Martin, son.
However, we've definitely kept this down. The post-shot XG is only at 0.5. If we go and have a look at the data for the other seasons, you can see his save percentage is down at 72.5%. So this is from all of his minutes from last year bundled into there. So you can see that the save percentage of Trafford is really, really healthy. And if we go and have a look at Trafford's general stats, he is 6'5" as well, or 6'6" if we're rounding up. So he's young, he's agile, he's getting his confidence back. He's putting up reasonably good, very, very good numbers for the Championship. Literally you can't do any more than he's currently doing. He's doing the maximum he could be. So it's fantastic stuff from him in that regard. So let's have a look at his transfer marks. If it lets me zoom in and scroll down. So this is what I was talking about earlier, is the price. So he moved from, adverts, hang on a minute. He moved from Man City to Burnley for a fee of 17.3 million euros, whatever that is in real money, around that kind of fee. So you would imagine we're going to have to pay more than this to get him out of Burnley, because he's very important for them. He's number one goalkeeper. He's doing fantastic.
Right, well, let's have a discussion about that. What Billy, what sort of price range would you put on somebody like James Trafford right now, given the obviously the stats you've seen, the form he's in, what sort of price range would you go in as if you were Newcastle United?
If I was Newcastle United, I'd be offering a fee plus Vlachodimos, because obviously Vlachodimos has no chance of playing. So they may go for that, offer him 10 million plus Vlachodimos. For me, that'd work.
What about
16 clean sheets out of 25 matches for Burnley?
I mean, that is pretty impressive. If you would just go on monetary offer, though, Billy.
20 million? Yeah.
20.
I'm not sure they'd accept it.
No, I think it'd be 25 to 30. Quite honestly, I think they'd be looking to almost double the money on him. But look, his stats don't lie, right? That amount of clean sheets in the Championship, I mean, that's pretty impressive. It really is. And I know there's a lot of people, maybe there's certainly people in the chat against signing James Trafford, which is fair enough. But at the same time, the fact that he's only 22 is a massive plus for me, given the form he's in this season. And when he's going to be working under Eddie Howe and his coaches, I think he gets even better. Genuinely. Because I think we've seen, let's be honest, we've seen an improvement in Dubravka. And that needed to happen, and we've seen it, even in Dubravka's later years. So what can he do with James Trafford? I think it's definitely a viable option if Dubravka does leave.
The issue is price. The issue is definitely price.
Yeah.
A few people mentioning a sell-on clause from City. Yeah, I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but if there is anything, whether it's 10, 20%, that will be factored into the fee. The fact that they've spent a lot of money on him themselves, and he's well under contract. So you're looking at somewhere between 25 and 30 million, I would imagine. I would imagine Burnley would want closer to 30, possibly even more. Who knows?
It's interesting because Billy mentioned before doing a swap deal with Vlachodimos, but we do have other players that we could maybe tempt them with. There's the likes of Matt Target, Hayden, of course. There is a couple of players that we could maybe tempt them with the deal.
Maybe even Pope. We could even send Pope back, couldn't we?
Well, it is an option. But the problem with that, Billy, is if Dubravka does leave, then I don't think they'll want to lose as Nick Pope, to be honest. Even though Vlachodimos would still be there, I don't think they'd want to lose Nick Pope. I think Trafford would come in as Nick Pope's understudy till possibly the end of the season and then see what happens after that. It's an interesting one.
Baz Down Under talking about another goalkeeper. Right, yeah. So there's context for this. For people who don't realise, Nick Pope's contract expires June 2026. Yeah. So he's got one full season after this season. Dubravka is as good as done as far as we're concerned. We think he's going to go possibly in the next couple of weeks. And if he doesn't, he'll go in the summer. You've then got Gillespie, who will never play football for us. You've got Ruddy, who seemingly will never play football for us. And Vlachodimos, who isn't really favoured at all. So when you put it into context, we've got a handful of goalkeepers we're not going to use. Dubravka, who's going, and then just Nick Pope, who's out of contract June 2026. So I appreciate that we have a lot of goalkeepers. You are absolutely right, everyone. But in 12 months' time, the goalkeeper situation is going to be really precarious. We need another goalkeeper. Well, we don't just need another goalkeeper. We need another goalkeeper that we're going to use and is going to be good enough to play for the club.
Yeah,
we can't just keep hoarding these goalkeepers to be coaches and cheerleaders. It's getting ridiculous.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If we are, the chat obviously tonight is very much, why do we need another goalkeeper? But this is a goalkeeper who I think wouldn't be just brought in to set the cones up or do a bit of coaching or arrange nights out like Gillespie's doing and that sort of thing. Trafford would be brought in as a potential number one, as the number one. Because Nick Pope, I think, this is just my personal opinion, but I think Nick Pope has sort of regressed, I think, in the way the confidence around him. The confidence coming for crosses, confidence with his distribution, etc. Listen, he's still a good shot stopper, don't get me wrong. But there's been times this season where he has sort of dived for the ball and you kind of think it's in slow motion. What the hell is he doing? You look back at the Fulham goal. I mean, terrible. And some of the stuff he's done and his distribution, even when Dubravka's come back, you can see that there is a distribution problem with Nick Pope. And I just think that this kind of signing would be for the here and now and not for anything else. Jordan Long, thank you for becoming a new member of the channel. Much appreciated. And James Morrison, thank you for your super chat. Just go to Lille for Chevalier and David, of course, for 45 to 50 million pounds. We've got an Aston Villa fan in the chat who was very appreciative of the work you do in Stato. So thank you very much for that. I mean, look, the goalkeeper one is always going to be a contentious conversation. But I mean, Billy, where do you stand on Nick Pope right now as the number one?
Well, I think he is our number one. He wants his fit again, if I'm perfectly honest.
The fact you took so long to answer gives me the impression that you're not completely happy with Nick Pope.
I don't think it's the goalkeeper he was. No,
yeah.
no. And his distribution is really poor. And we've managed to get by without him. I mean, I think the fact he's been out for so long and we haven't conceded a goal, despite Dubravka not really having much to save, kind of speaks volumes, really. We don't need a sweeper keeper as such now because we're defending well enough without one.
Yeah. And there's also Kelleher to put in the mix as well.
Kelleher's the man I'll be after in the summer. Absolutely no doubt about it.
Yeah. I mean,
no doubt about it.
We'll be doing him on another transfer show, obviously. He appeals to me as well. I think the fact that he's played so well at Liverpool, and I don't think he's got a future at Liverpool. And I think that's why his agent is probably pushing his name out there as well, because they've got Mamardashvili coming in the summer, and there's no way he's going to get ahead of Alisson or Mamardashvili. I think Arne Slot's got a real problem as to keep happy as two goalkeepers, never mind three. And I think Kelleher wants to stay in the Premier League. I think he's deservedly to stay in the Premier League, and he's good enough to be in the Premier League. So I'm Toon in 1983 says we should go for Martinez at Aston Villa. There's no way he would leave Villa. As good as he is, I think he's settled there. Kelleher would be a good option. I mean, where do you stand on Nick Pope, Alex?
Well, if you want to put the graphics back up, I've gone and brought up the passing differences between the two. So this is Nick Pope.
Yeah.
We don't have as good kind of data as I would like, really, but so we have passes completed, launched, which is 2.75 per game. So of the hoofed passes, he completes just under 3 per game, Nick Pope does. And if we have a look at Trafford, it is closer to 5. So it is considerably more for Trafford. The pass completion percentage of the launched is 22.8 for Trafford. And for Pope's, it is 25. So again, Trafford's beating him. This is not in percentiles. This is just he's genuinely beating him in those metrics. Passes attempted. See, we don't really care about that. I care more about the success rate of the.
It's got to be. It's got to be. He's got.
So we don't have as good data as I would like with this. We kind of want to look at completed passes, mistakes, things like that, because that's what we really care about. Because it's been glaringly obvious that Dubravka's better with his feet than Pope. I mean, we've been talking about this for years, and people kind of go, "Yeah, but Pope's okay." He's not. He's with his feet. He's awful. This is why he's not the England number one. If Pope was even remotely average with his feet, he would be England's number one, hands down. That is the thing that lets him down enormously.
So as much as we rile Pickford, I think Pickford is a hell of a. He's a hell of a goal kicker. If you know, normally I know he's
massively error prone at the moment, though.
Well, he is, but in the past, yeah. Troy Deeney's made his mouth go again, guys. He's talking about Fabian Schär. Said he's not known for being a good footballer.
I did see that. Yeah, I saw that today. Not known for being a good footballer. What about the absolute worldie against PSG and all the long range passes and assists and long range goals? And Cruyff turns he does.
Well, he's had his issues this season, but Jesus Christ, honestly.
He's one of the silkiest centre-halves in the Premier League. He has been over the last 2 years.
I mean, he's such a bell end. He really is a bell end.
He just doesn't watch the football. He doesn't know what he's talking about because he's not invested in it.
He's
living off the fact he's an ex-player.
Yeah, these cockwombles that talk shite keep bringing out from, honestly. Crazy. Anyway, so, is it a year or a nay, Billy, for James Trafford?
All things being equal and no one else existing is a yay.
I wouldn't mind signing him. I have to say. I mean, for me, it would be Trafford or Kelleher as the ones that I'd be looking to bring in. So yeah, I wouldn't mind it at all. Alex, what do you reckon?
I would go for neither. I would prefer us to go and scout somewhere. I think with goalkeepers, it's a bit different. I don't think they need to be as proven in the league that they need to be playing in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's nonsense. I think they need to just match the right profile and have the right ability. I would rather we went and spent between 5 and 15 mil on somebody from the European League somewhere. Literally don't care. With goalkeepers, it's different.
Or just leave as is until the summer.
And sign somebody from Croatia or Austria.
Leave as is until the summer. Go out and get a striker, a right winger, and another centre back if needed. There you go. Leave the goalkeepers alone for the rest of the season. I'm quite happy to keep Martin Dubravka until the summer. So
readdress this in the summer. I'd leave it for now.
Yep. Right, let's move on to player number 2. Thank you, everybody, for your opinions in the chat, and welcome to all non-fans of Newcastle United as well. We welcome everybody on this channel, as long as you're sensible in the chat. We certainly don't mind fans from other teams. We've got just over 1,400 watching again. Thank you very much. Please do keep liking if you're enjoying the show, and, of course, subscribing if you are new. We're less than 50 away already from 34,500. We only celebrated 34,000 last week, so we're almost at 34,500. Incredible rise. Thank you very much. Right, next player is, oh God, I've just seen it, and I want to vomit.
You can let Billy announce it if you want.
Billy, do you want to announce this? Here we go.
I can see it's Jack Grealish, the Man City right winger.
Whose photo looks like it was taken on his 10th birthday, by the way.
He's a left winger, isn't he? Sorry, not right winger, but yes.
Yeah, he does look rather shiny in that photo, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks like he's been well oiled before somebody's put the camera on his face. He's maybe posing for a catalogue or a pornographic website or something like that. I don't know.
A nightclub.
Maybe he's had a damn good boogie.
Right.
Anyway, come on and let's have a look.
I mean, some people have already been typing, but before you get too carried away, everyone, I know, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't want to do this either. But sometimes in life, you have to do things you don't want to do. And we've been linked with Jack Grealish, and it's the rules of the channel. It's the rules of the show. So we will have.
By the way, a big shout out to Villa 1982, by the way. Lovely comment there as well. So thank you so much. Be interesting to see what he's got to say about signing Jack Grealish.
Well, I mean, we've been linked, so we do have to talk about him briefly because we were linked during December.
Yes.
So
yes,
yeah, we'll go through this quickly. Right. So first things first. Generally plays on the left. Can play as a wide forward centrally in the 10, but generally plays on the left. And we already have Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes in those positions. So for feasibility, maybe even a loan, this would work if we had the position available. If he was a naturally right-sided player and they were putting him up for loans, this might be realistic as a possible talking point. But in that regard, absolutely not. I don't think they would want to loan us a player at all. We're stacked in that position in the squad anyway, and his numbers are absolutely atrocious this season as well.
By the way, I've just put a poll up, Alex, saying Grealish, yes or no. So we'll see what the poll comes back with as well.
This could be a record.
Yeah. So get voting, guys. Would you have Grealish or not? Carry on, Alex. Let's go.
Although, Fubar, you're about to have your heart broken with have we been linked with Kubo yet? Because I'm pretty sure on this list he stat matches Kubo in 5th. Yeah,
yes, yes, Alex, but we haven't been linked with him. Do not stab me in the heart. I know. But let's just concentrate on Mr. Grealish for now, shall we?
Anyway, Grealish, for people who don't know him, he's from Birmingham, and he's Irish and English and all of the same things at the same time. He's on all of the biscuits. He's on 300,000 biscuits.
That's filthy.
Which is far too many biscuits for somebody of his quality. Obviously, we know he was £100 million transfer fee, which is quite a lot. And he's got quite a fat contract as well.
Yep. Villa 1982 says never liked him at Villa. Always thought he was bigger. Always thought he was bigger than Villa. Tried to leave multiple times. He's got no loyalty to any club he's been at. And a super chat from Kieran. City would want a swap deal for Bruno. City can get lost.
Wouldn't give him the tea lady.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's scroll down and have a look, shall we? So for some reason, he's being profiled as both an attacking midfielder and a midfielder. He plays out left. He's a forward. He's not a midfielder. I don't know why they've even given him data. It just makes it look better. That is what he profiles like. So some interesting stuff in here. So the defensive metrics, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt because Man City are a very dominant team with the ball. They like a lot of the ball. So by default, he's not going to be doing as much of this anyway. Interesting things here. His progressive carries are fantastic. He's a great ball carrier. He's always been known as being a very good ball carrier. However, the successful take-ons, I was shocked to see that it's massively dropped off. He's in the bottom 33rd percentile.
That doesn't surprise me, Alex, because if you watch him, when he tries to take people on, he's very
predictable.
Yeah, but he's
eye test and stat backs this up. He doesn't seem to take his man on very much.
He can't take men on. He's very flashy when he gets the ball and he tries to sort of step overs and do this and do that. But when it comes to actually beating the man that's in front of him, he very rarely does. If you watch him play a lot, he very rarely does beat a man.
Yeah. But I mean, other qualities, very good progressor of the ball, very safe with the ball, very technically gifted, very strong, will win you a lot of fouls as well. I don't know if we can get a fouls won statistic off of this, but it will be pretty high if we can get one. Shot volume is 2, not great. It's okay, I guess. It's lower than average for his position. Do we have a fouls drawn?
While you're looking for that, Alex, a super chat from Anthony Tucky. Happy New Year, buddy. Thank you for your super chat. And he says, Happy New Year, Paul, Billy, and Alex. Thank you very much, mate.
Carries into the penalty area is really high. Carries into the final third. I don't think we have a... Oh, there you go. Fouls drawn. Fouls drawn, 99th percentile. So people still kick him like they used to. 3.46 fouls per 90.
Well, again, when you say kick him, Alex,
forwards,
he does fall over a lot. Let's be honest. When he hasn't been kicked,
well, he does. He doesn't plant his foot
the fouls.
His calves will throw him off balance and he falls over. But again, his ball progression, carrying the ball into the final third, carrying the ball into the penalty area, ball retention, drawing fouls. He's top quality in those areas. But there's definitely, the assists have fallen off, the goals have fallen off. And the confidence to take on his man. It seems to be a confidence issue. And not only that, let's not pretend that he's young. He is 29 years old now. So he is of that age, the same sort of age that Jacob Murphy and Miguel Almiron are at the moment. So I just don't see where Jack Grealish goes because I don't think Man City would like to loan him to a competitor. And that kind of rules him out. He would have to go in the next bracket down of teams. And currently, the next bracket down of teams is Fulham, Brentford, Villa. And I don't think he would want to play for a team like that. I think he's too obnoxious for it. And that's a massive criticism from me. We are supposed to critique the footballer, not his personality. But I'm not sure he would go and play for a Bournemouth or a Fulham or a Brentford. But that I don't think he could go anywhere in the Premier League. I think he would have to go abroad.
Devil's advocate stats, though. You're saying that Man City wouldn't loan him to us. If they're trying to get round us for a certain reason, would you think they would?
Potentially, yeah. They might offer somebody like him in a swap deal because obviously it's no secret that Rodri being out for so long and then midfield Gundogan being about 68 years old. Possibly. There's a few people
throwing Spurs in the mix. He was a very could see him being a Spursy type player.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. I'm not sure they'd want him, but
I don't know. I think he's at the wrong age now to try and get, nearly 30. He's not exactly flying at the minute, plus his wages to consider. I think finding a new club is going to be difficult for Grealish because no one's going to pay that.
Grealish. I mean, I know I'd want to retain if I was.
Well, Spurs, absolutely, but nobody's going to. Who's going to pay $300,000 a week for him? Nobody.
Do you know what? I could see Jack Grealish. I could see him going out on loan to somewhere like Juventus or somewhere like that. I could see him in a move like that because Serie A have taken on a lot of English players in recent years, Tammy Abrahams and Tomori's. There's been players that have gone over there and done okay. Ramsey, from obviously Welsh, but I could see him going to Serie A possibly. I think a loan abroad is the only way out for this guy. And it depends on Man City's situation, because Man City have imploded so far this year. So it depends what their plans are in January, in the summer, in the rebuild. Depends what Pep's going to do long term. He's in a precarious situation. His career is very at danger of just completely teetering out.
Yeah, Michael McIntyre, thank for his super chat. He says, "Oh my God, no." Toon. A lot of people in the chat are also saying about Grealish's work rate. Is he an Eddie Howe type player? And I don't think he is. That you've got to take that into consideration. Grealish being the type of player he is, would Eddie Howe be satisfied with that kind of? And I know it seems like Pep gets very frustrated with him, and that's why maybe he doesn't start as many games. Because,
there is one thing to consider here. If we scroll over, regardless of what we think about the man or the footballer, he is a 3-time Premier League champion and a Champions League winner. He was part of the treble team, and he was quite good in those seasons. But I think it's a no. There's probably 1 or 2 positive points, but there are 30 or 40 negative points to this talk. I don't think this happens.
I think the wage packet really just cancels out for starters, because he's not going to come for much less than that. And we're not going to.
I don't think the fans would like him. I don't think it fits financially. I don't think it fits in a footballing sense. I'm not sure he would like it. I don't think we would like it. Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
Guys, can we stop with the bullying in the chat, please? Let's pack it in. We're all Newcastle. Well, we're all football fans here, so let's just cut that out, please. That's your last warning. What's his injury record like, Alex? Is there any chance I'm look at that?
Yeah.
Not
the
severe
highest
enough.
Market value, 100 million. Current market value, 45.
Yeah, there's the drop off.
Oh, middle name, Peter. Oh, injury history.
That was just offended everybody called Peter. So there you go.
I just said his middle name's Peter.
It was the way you said it, Alex. His middle name's Peter, as if to say, Peter Piper picked a pepper. Anyway, let's have a look. There it is.
He's got a teenage list of injuries, hasn't he? I've had tonsillitis and I've had a chin and I've had a fever. Yeah, it seems
acne. Where's acne at?
Wrist injury.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's not terrible since he's been at City. In fact, it's very good since he's been at City. It's
not as bad as I thought it was since he moved to City, actually.
No, it's hamstring and a couple of groin issues, totaling maybe 2 and a bit months. And then all of the serious issues were at Villa. So for the last sort of 3 or 4 years, it's been pretty good. But he's not been good, which has been the issue.
Yeah. Villa says he was injured, had shin splints, but really he was rehab. He was, I'd heard that. That the Villa that you had an excuse for being out when he had problems, didn't he? So it's still a no from me. I can't see that ever happening in a million years, to be honest.
Nah. It's a ridiculous link, to be honest, because we've already got the best left winger in the country. Why do you want someone that wants to take his place in the England side?
Well, yeah, is he better than Anthony Gordon?
Nowhere near. It's not the same
this is what we have to look at when we look at players that are potentially linked and potential to come to the club. Are they better than what we have? Because if we want to be where we want to be, then the players coming into the club have to be better than the ones we've already got, or around the same level, so that we can bring that squad up to the level we need it to be with the additional signings. And I don't think Grealish is. I really don't. A few years ago, maybe, but now, not a chance. And certainly not for that kind of money.
No.
The wages are laughable. Absolutely shocking. Should we have a look at the poll?
Yeah.
91% say no.
That's a lot of people that would be okay with it, though.
9% would sign Jack Grealish. So
how did you phrase the question? Would you sign Jack Grealish?
I just put Grealish ? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah, that could mean anything.
Well, I think because it's a transfer show, Alex, I think people will know what it means. Considering you're currently reviewing Jack Grealish, and I put Grealish ? I don't think. listen, if there's people in the chat who've obviously voted yes, they would sign him. I'm interested to know why. Because I find it very strange, what he would bring to us. And fact is, he's nowhere near good enough anyway. I mean, I'd rather have Barnes than Grealish as well. So
I think I would.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It's a very, very strange. I mean, listen, he was linked by more than one person as well. It wasn't just one little media report. It was, I remember mentioning it during a news show. There was loads of articles about it, but the problem is with the media, you tend to get one person reporting it, and then other media outlets pick up on it, and they'll report it as well if they think it's a big story. Grealish is still a big name, whether you like him or not as a footballer. He's still a big name, and obviously Newcastle United will pull in the readers if they see Newcastle linked with somebody. They'll say, right, yeah, let's go for it. But I can't see it happening. I just don't see it. I take it you're not really buzzing by it either, Alex.
What, Jack Grealish? No, absolutely not. No, we've only reviewed him because we got linked. Now we've reviewed him, we don't have to touch it again for this window unless we get linked.
Or ever. By the way, just to let people know that the guy who centre back we looked at last night's show, Mr. Barber, was heavily linked with the deal with us today. I wonder if that's actually going to happen, Alex, and because from what I read, it was quite the possibility.
Yeah, there were high fees quoted in the article. I mean, I think he was linked by Italian sources, which for anybody who knows me knows I don't rate them very highly as reliable when it comes to transfer information. Yeah, and they're quoting, I think, 8 to 10 million. And Juma Bar, despite being a very promising young 18-year-old centre-half, he's playing in an absolute, woeful Valladolid side in Spain who are rock bottom of the league.
Leave them alone. I've got a real soft spot for Valladolid. And look at that. I said it. It took me 10 minutes to say that last night. And look how easily it ran off the tongue there. Valladolid.
So for anybody who didn't watch the last transfer show we did yesterday, once we finish tonight, go back and have a look at yesterday. So the first transfer show of the window, we reviewed 3 players, and one of those was Juma Bar. There was another defender in there as well who's fantastic. Make sure you watch it. Tonight we still have one more player, so we will move on to him in a minute.
But also leading on to that, if you do miss the shows, they are all available on iTunes or Spotify or where you get your favorite podcasts from around about an hour after the show. The previous show we done tonight, the preview is already up. So basically you can go and listen to it as a podcast for when you're in the car or walking the dog or in the gym, that type of thing. Every show, the live show we do, apart from Matchday Live, because it's pointless. But every other show we do on a live basis goes onto the podcasts, and they're available around about an hour afterwards. So keep an eye out, guys. If you want to listen to the show again without switching on YouTube, you can listen to it on your favorite podcast providers, mainly iTunes and Spotify, obviously. I take it Dobie's getting hammered, Billy.
Yeah, 5-1. First to 6.
Oh, he's out. He's not going anywhere. Anyway, let's do our third player. By the way, over 1,800 watching now. Thank you so much, guys, across both platforms. Of course, we broadcast on X as well. If you're watching on X, hop over to YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Let's see how close we can get to 34,500 subscribers tonight. It would be incredible as we head to 35. So here we go. Oh, for God's sake. Listen, I'm just going to say it as I see it, right? Right. Magnus Akliouche.
I was going to say Magnussen then.
Magnus Akliouche.
I mean, my French is poor, so apologies. Magnus Akliouche, I think, is how we're saying his name.
Well, I'm not far away, am I?
Yeah, there's no accent on you, so I think Alex is right. Akliouche.
Akliouche.
Born in Tremblay in France.
Yeah, Tremblay. Oh,
I don't know why they have the name France in the name for whatever.
Do you not think that's stupid? There's a few places in France do that. En France. Well, yes, it's in France. We don't need telling twice.
That's where the village in was
Newcastle
invented.
in England.
Yes, that's right, Billy. We don't need telling twice that it's in bloody France. The French, the
So
very
Akliouche,
strange.
guys, we have reviewed him once before. Yes, it was a while ago.
He
We
needs a
have
haircut.
since been linked again. We got linked in November. We've also been linked in December.
Yeah.
We've been linked by English sources, European sources. We've been linked loads of different places. So we are able to review him again. Anthony Ford, no thanks. Next, have you seen this kid play? Oh my word! Right, let's get into this, because for people who don't seem to know who this kid is. He's a right winger, left-footed, the profile that we're looking for, an inverted winger to play on the right-hand side to replace the outgoing Miguel Almiron, who seems pretty nailed on. He's probably going to go this window.
Indeed.
Plays for Monaco. And there's an interesting fact about Monaco, if anybody can remember.
Paul Mitchell.
Yeah, so our sporting director used to recruit for them and did their entire rebuild. So he knows Monaco quite well and probably has quite good connections with them. So this kid is signed a new contract recently, unfortunately, and it expires in June 2028. He's on 22,000 European French biscuits, which is not too many, and I think we could probably increase that. The contract is a bit of an issue. It's quite high. But still, how has he done so far this season? 1,000 minutes in League 1 with 6 goal contributions, 2 goals, 4 assists, and he's actually running a little bit cold. He should have had 3 goals, and he's only got 2, so it could be on more.
No, definitely
also,
not.
For a 22-year-old, has over 500 minutes in the Champions League, 2 goals and an assist. So putting up the numbers in the Champions League as well as in the league. So that is a very, very impressive return from the young man. Let's scroll down and have a look at the important stuff. Here he is. So one of the features of Akliouche is he's very technically gifted. He's very energetic as well.
I put a poll up, by the way, for this guy as well.
Oh yeah, definitely put a poll up.
Yeah,
he's a good presser of the ball, always willing to work hard on the ball, off the ball. And you can see here over 2 tackles per 90 in the top 9% in Europe, and this is against the men's Big 5 leagues. You know, and this is over 2,500 minutes of data. So this is not kind of how he plays. This is exactly how this guy plays. He's very good at getting several tackles per game. Interceptions is very high for his position as well, above average for blocks. Could maybe do with working on the aerials a tiny bit. We will compare him to Jacob Murphy in a second. Ball progression is really, really good. More than, above average for progressive carries, so physically dribbling the ball long distances. Progressive passes, ball progression through passing is really high in the 88th percentile as well. Shot volume, 2, could be a little bit higher potentially. Let's go and have a look at him versus Jacob Murphy, shall we? So this is his little pie chart. And let's zoom out a little bit if it lets me zoom out. Ooh, there we go. So if we change this, compare to Jacob, where are you? There you are, Jacob. There you go. That's compared to Jacob Murphy. Now, again, pinch of salt, because Jacob Murphy is right-footed. Even so, it should be fairly okay to have a look at these. Murphy's also had a fantastic season, so his data is quite good. Yeah. So tackles and interceptions. Blue is Akliouche, red is Jacob Murphy. So tackles and interceptions is actually higher for Akliouche, which is pretty crazy, because we know Jacob likes a lot of hard work off the ball. Jacob winning out with clearances and blocks. The actual non-penalty goals and non-penalty XG is higher for Akliouche. Shot creating actions, passes attempted, progressive passes, successful take-ons. Yeah, so all of the offensive flair stuff is considerably higher for Akliouche. Jacob Murphy is better at certain things. His assists this season have been really, really good. Percentage of dribblers tackled is really, really high, strangely, for Jacob Murphy as well. But you can see Akliouche, despite only being 22 years old, up here with the passes, progressive passes, carries, take-ons. It's really, really impressive. Really, really impressive. So should we have a look at some games for him?
See what I did there.
18th of December, Monaco lost 4-2.
Can you zoom in a tad, Alex?
PSG. I will do in a sec. Yeah, so this was a recent game, 18th of December. They lost 4-2 to PSG, but he did actually score an 8.5 and get an assist in this game. So he did his job to a point as an attacker. And this is... Oh my God, did Desiree Doué go to PSG? Did I completely miss that? Have I been asleep? He did.
Yeah,
for anybody who doesn't know, we did Desiree Doué on transfer shows many, many times before.
We did.
Anyway, so Monaco. Here is Monaco. His fullback's not had a very good game. Mr. Wilfred Singo with a 5.9.
Jesus.
But Akliouche doing actually the highest rated on his team. So let's open the stats for him in this game. Obviously,
the Geordies would love a name like that, wouldn't they? Akliouche.
He got an assist in this game. He put an XA of 1.4, so arguably deserved a tad more than that. Well, the dog's joining me. There must be a storm outside. Attacking metrics are phenomenal for this lad in this game. 5 key passes, 2 accurate crosses, completed every single long ball, 3 out of 3, created 3 big chances for his team. He blocked. He had 3 shots blocked, may I add. 6 out of 9 completed dribbles. Bearing in mind, guys, this is against PSG. He completed 6 dribbles, 11 out of 16 ground duels. He turned up and he went, I don't care that you're PSG. I'm going to run you absolute ragged. So these 2 things here, the fact that he's 6 dribbles and 11 out of 16 ground duels is phenomenal against PSG. He basically doesn't care who he plays against. He can switch it on against the big teams. If you look at the results as well, fairly consistent, sort of just below 7s. He had a tough December. Of course, they played against Arsenal as well. He got a 6.6 in that game. Let's go and have a look. There he is out on the right-hand side. So he had to go against Marino, Lewis Skelly, Martinelli on that side. So how did he do? 91% passing accuracy, couple of completed long balls, 1 shot on target. Yeah, so struggled a little bit more against Arsenal, but we know Arsenal are a very, very good side, title challenging. So a little bit more difficult of a game for him. But we have to look at the bad and the good. And then in November, banging him in, a couple of goals against Brest, an assist against Strasbourg as well, an 8.6 here.
Stop it, Billy.
No,
Stop
Billy.
it now. I knew as soon as you mentioned that team, I knew Billy couldn't hold his laugh.
2 against Brest.
Yeah, 2 against Brest. I mean, wow.
Well, here is the 2. How did he do? Struggled to actually find a teammate with the crosses and the long balls. 2 shots on target. He got a couple of completed dribbles, hit the woodwork, missed a big chance. 9 out of 15 ground duels as well. So crazy amount of physical work. 3 interceptions and 6 tackles. So you can see the out of possession work this guy puts in. I think he would really, really suit our style of play. And if we scroll down, I'm pretty sure if we look at the stat matches, 3rd on the list is Anthony Gordon. 1st on the list is Kulusevski. 2nd is Lamine Yamal. This guy ticks boxes in terms of
he's in some
how
good
he
company
plays
there,
football
isn't he?
as well.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a bit of a wand of a left foot as well. There's a lot of sort of Juan Mata style left-footed efforts. He's got a bit of whip on him. He's very good with that left foot. I think he's got buckets of talent. He's got a high skill ceiling. There's definitely a lot of progression for him. So Magnus Akliouche, I absolutely love this guy. I think if we're going to put players into brackets for this window so far, I think he's one of I would probably say top 3 options to sign as a right winger for us at the club. I think he's that good.
Yeah. What kind of price we're looking at starting for him? What's his transfer value?
Quite a lot. Do you want to put it back?
Well, if his current market value is 40 million, you can guarantee that Monaco will want more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I haven't looked at Monaco for a little while, but I think they're in quite a healthy position financially. They've got a reasonably well put together team. They're in the Champions League. He's got 4 years on his contract, so it would be more than this. I think it would be more than 40. They would definitely tell us to go fish. Not played. Has he played for France yet? Oh, he has played for France. Oh, he's capped 6 times for France.
Yeah. He can know. Somebody put in the comments earlier on that he wouldn't be able to play for us because he'd be at the African nations. But I'm pretty sure he played for France when I looked at him.
Well,
earlier
he's
on.
got Algeria dual citizenship. So unless he has since played for Algeria, but it says here he's been capped for France 6 times.
July, he played in the summer for them. Yeah.
So, and let's not beat around the bush. To get called up to that France team, you have to be something special because it's.
Christ, you get it all on this channel, don't you? Breasts and beating around the bush.
He's clearly played in the Nations League as well, so he's definitely would be able to go back to Algeria.
Yeah, he can't. No. So
I mean, I'll go back and have a look at if he's actually played for the proper national team. I would imagine he has. Played for the U21s France. Played for U23s. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's been involved with Algeria. So unless something's changed in the last month or two and he's decided...
Well, let's be fair. The way the kid's going, he's good enough to play for France, isn't he? It's not like he's going to jump ship and go and play for Algeria. Let's be honest.
Very possible.
I played the French Olympic team, people are saying. So,
yeah.
That might have been what it was, yeah.
So, I mean, look, I would definitely go for this kid. It depends. It depends on the transfer fee itself, though, doesn't it? Because we're talking about these players and how good they are, but we won't be the only team looking at this player. French.
It's an expensive one.
Absolutely. I mean, PSG could be looking at them without a shadow of a doubt. Real Madrid, these big teams will be looking at players like this who are excelling at such a young age. But could he come in and do a job for us? Absolutely.
I think he'd be more expensive than Bakayoko, who we've obviously looked at.
Bakayoko apparently isn't going anywhere now. The PSV have completely blocked that, despite PSV originally saying that they would listen to offers, and Newcastle were front runners for him about a week before the window opened, and then a couple of days later they changed their mind on it and said, no, we're not letting them go. We're doing well, and we want to keep our core players, which they're entitled to do, obviously. So that one sort of fell away.
If money wasn't an option, though, we'd all buy this kid, wouldn't we? No doubt about it.
I think we still could buy this kid. The issue would be we'd be compromising in other areas. I think if we were to go big on a right winger, then we would be looking at a development centre half. We would go for somebody, maybe Kozanov or somebody like that. But you're looking at. I couldn't see us spending more than 20 mil on a centre half if we've gone for somebody like this as a right wing. Because I just don't think there's the money. Depends on who we sell.
Yeah. Toon Joe with a super chat. Happy New Year, TTR. 60k subs in a live pod this year. That would be lovely. That would be lovely. And James Morrison says outlets tonight saying we're after McAtee. Thoughts?
Yeah, Tyler. Is it Tyler Dibbling? I think his name is. And James McAtee.
Apparently, we put a bid in for him in 2022.
We've been linked with him before.
Yeah, we have. But, the reports are saying we've actually bid for him previously. So crazy. But listen, the world of Newcastle United is crazy. And it always is around this time. But
the only thing I'd like to just finish off with the Akliouche stuff is just remember the fact that Mitchell was at Monaco. So it does open us up for better financial arrangements, whether that's swaps or loans. We might be able to
or even structuring it and how we pay this thing, yeah.
By the way, McAtee is the kid at Man City who's just got into the first team. So Diblin's the other one. Is Southampton, isn't it? Tyler Diblin, who we bid for previously. The poll for Akliouche, 79% say yes. They would love to sign him at Newcastle. 21% say no.
Number.
Yeah, it's a very big number. So yeah, that's interesting. But there you go. That is the transfer show for tonight, done and dusted. Don't forget, tomorrow, 11 o'clock, we have the press conference reaction as Eddie speaks to the media ahead of the trip to Spurs. So we'll find out a bit more about Botman and
join you for that.
Injuries. You can, Alex, indeed. Billy might even set an alarm. I mean, normally the last couple of times we've done press conference reactions, Billy has looked like a North Korean leader. Which has been impressive. But that is at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow night, we've got TTR Friday. TTR Friday will probably be more sort of looking at the news going around about Newcastle, potential signings, things like that. And then, of course, we'll bring you guys on as well for your say on Newcastle. Are you looking forward to the Spurs game? What have you thought of recent form? It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a fan forum on. So join us tomorrow night from 7 o'clock for that. And midday Saturday, of course, is Match Day Live with myself, Billy, and Alex for analysis. 12:30 kickoff, full commentary of the game. It is indeed, but we'll have half an hour build up to the game as usual. So plenty to look forward to. Sunday evening, of course, we will have the match review as well. So lots
We're
to
doing a transfer show on Sunday as well, aren't we?
at some point, yes. So loads to subscribe for, guys. Loads and loads. But if you have enjoyed tonight's show, hit that thumbs up, guys. It's really important to the channel. And of course, like I say, if you're new, hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so. Help us get up that ladder of subscribers.
There's loads of people asking about Kuzanov in the chat. We did him yesterday on a transfer show, so go back to yesterday's transfer show. It's on. You can come live and see the old shows. Go watch yesterday's show as well.
Yeah. Or you can listen to it on a podcast, of course. It's up to yourselves. Do join us on social media. We're all on X, Instagram. Follow us on the Toon Review on there. We're on Facebook. We've got a Facebook group with over 4,000 members. So if you're on Facebook, just have a look at that and request to join. And me or the mods will let you in if you've accepted the terms and conditions. But thank you for your super chats tonight, your memberships, mods, Alex and Billy. Thank you very much. And of course, the usual thank you to you guys out there. Over 1,800 watching on both platforms tonight. That's incredible for the second show of the evening. Thank you so much for all your support, guys. And of course, to Mamaroo Records for sponsoring the channel. Check their link out at the top of the description. And we will see you all again tomorrow. Good night.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out the